Hi ho, everybody, and welcome back to D Plus Us Weekly, the show where we talk about shows exclusive to Disney Plus, episode by episode, week by week, for our enjoyment and yours. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tennell, Griffy Deepad, and with me, as always, the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Bitch George. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing better than Muse.
Oh man, yeah. Although honestly, I don't think people could be doing much worse than Muse.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's an interesting conversation to be had here, folks, because we're talking today about episode 7 of Daredevil Born Again, Art for Art's Sake. Of course, folks, this is D Plus S Weekly, where we're full spoilers on this week's episode of a Disney Plus show. We've talked about so many at this point. Go check those out. And before we jump into tonight's, a couple pieces of housekeeping. First off, hey, go check out the regular show. We got a bunch of great episodes up over there right now. And go check out the YouTube channel, where you can see fun videos and our faces and inevitably, hopefully soon, some parks content. I just need to actually get out there.
No, you don't. You don't have to do any of that. Just continue to live your life the way you do. It doesn't all have to be with the parks, Griffin.
What I will do is the first time I go is I will force Mitch into a Discord call
Yes, you will.
just so that I can brag. For no other reason.
I know.
No, but seriously, go check out the YouTube channel. We'll be doing a bunch of fun stuff over there. But also YouTube folks, hey, we got a podcast version as well. So you can, if you want to listen to us rather than watch us, you can go check things out there. Lots of fun stuff. Both shows go up on the podcast feed. Blah 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 blah.
We have a time with it.
Yes, when I remember to post things on the podcast feed.
Nah.
Never forgotten that before.
No, once. What are you talking about?
It's not all the time. Anyways, folks, we're gonna jump right into this week's episode. God, what an episode! Mitch, what do you think of this week?
A little surprised. Maybe I shouldn't have been though. I expected we would have gotten more of Muse as a foil, but really it was just a means to an end to get back to the Daredevil Fisk conflict that we're all, waiting for on bated breath. That being said, everything we saw here was really fun. When we got I don't know if you skipped through the previously on section, but as soon as we got the previously on section, I remembered, oh yeah, that weird creep at the book signing. That tracks now. And
I
knew before
totally
the episode
forgot about him.
I totally forgot about him until the previous one. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what we're revealing this week. Got it. Thanks for showing me that first thing. But I mean, either way, I thought it was really good. I think the thing that stood out to me most in this episode actually is the scene between BB and Daniel Blake. Michael Gandolfini has some kind of screen presence, man. Like he is his father's son.
Dude,
That
I said
whole
at the
scene,
beginning, like in our first episode, right, where I'm like,
yeah.
he is one of the most terrifying characters to me, and he proves it so much in this episode.
Which I think I said it here, but I'm going to reiterate this. I think we're going to find out that he is in some way related to Fisk, long lost son, something like that. Like there's more to that relationship, I think, than what meets the eye. And that's kind of the end, like the catalyst for him being such a dirtbag.
I do think
But
we're
in the
getting there,
best
and
way.
I do think we'll be getting there. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed. We'll be a little disappointed if they go that route, just because you have such a great opportunity here to show that, like, the dirt and like the grime and the cruelty that comes from the one person that these people idolize drips down into those followers as well. You see that a lot right now, right? Where it's like, okay, we're going to follow this one person and it's going to be our catalyst for doing a lot of shitty things. And I think that there is an opportunity to tell that story. At the same time, the Fisk child story, at least comic book wise, is also really fascinating and really interesting. So I'm really torn on like which one that I want to see in the MCU.
I think they could do something really interesting with this version of Fisk with how long he's been operating in New York. You got to think the blip is in there. Like there's a significant period of time there that either Fisk was running his empire, wasn't running his empire. There was all this back and forth. And he's got this gravitas to him, right? So pie in the sky, this is just me spitballing here. What if Blake, knowing that, he's the illegitimate son of Fisk or some relation like that, is just obsessed, and that comes out as the catalyst to him getting this job, getting closer to Fisk, is just his obsession, as opposed to, the oh my god, it's a mystery child kind of deal that you see in soap operas all the time. Like, they could definitely tell a compelling story with the man that is Fisk versus the legacy that is Kingpin, and how that's kind of fucked with Blake's head over the years. That being said, I'm just interested to see more of how that story progresses between BB, Blake, and Fisk. But in general, I love what we saw in this episode. I think there was a lot of really interesting contrast to a lot of the fight choreo. I really liked the office fight scene. Again, another great fight scene happening in daylight, which, thank God, not everything's happening in pitch darkness like we got with Daredevil on Netflix.
Wait, I'm sorry, you telling me that I can actually see this TV show?
Yeah, I know. Crazy thought, right? Yeah, I think there's a lot to like here, and I'm really curious to see how they wrap this story up in, 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, I was surprised by this episode. I think that this is a very good episode with very weird timing.
Yeah.
I really thought Muse was going to last us until the finale.
But I understand why he didn't, though, right? They need the penultimate and the final episode to be this coming to terms with
I saw
Matt being Daredevil and with Fisk being Kingpin, and those two personalities coming to a head, right?
Fair. I saw this great thing. I think it was from Paris Lilly, and I forget if it was on Twitter or Blue Sky. But it was something along the lines of, this feels like a great finale to what the original story of Daredevil Born Again was. And now these next 2 episodes are probably where a lot of the reshoots were.
Well, and I think that was originally the directors and the writers of the show. This was the last episode that they directed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm really interested to see what, I always say this every week, where I'm really interested to see what comes next, which is something I was thinking about the other day, where I'm like, I gotta stop doing that. I gotta just take this as it is here and now. I like what this is. I really do. I love the fight scenes we got here. I love the moment of Matt realizing that Muse is going after Heather. Like, feeling the painting and realizing
that was weird.
It was weird, but it worked. Also, Matt, take the painting with you, burn it or something. Don't just put your fingerprints all over the fucking crime scene.
I mean, I think that might have been the point. This is how they incriminate Matt and bring him to quote unquote justice, with the way the whole anti-vigilante task force is going to snowball out of control, presumably out of Fisk's control and out of control across the city over the next
I don't think we're getting
season.
I don't think we're getting, the trial of Matt Murdock here. I think it's, if anything, we're going to go more Shadowlands with this. And I realize I just threw out 2 very, very specific Daredevil references. So I will explain a little bit. Trial of Matt Murdock is exactly as it sounds. It is when Matt is accused of being Daredevil, and everybody's right. But basically, it ends with him being unable to practice law in New York anymore, and he moves out to California.
I mean, good setup if that's where Stature is and some other stuff MCU-wise happens.
I mean, also Karen's
Daredevil away from the next Spider-Man movie.
Hey, if that means that he can see Jen more often, then I am here for it. No, but the other one, Shadowlands, is a very weird one, where Matt takes over the hand and essentially runs Hell's Kitchen. And the reason I bring up Shadowlands is we are getting these images of on set season 2, which is currently filming. And he is wearing the all-black Daredevil suit, which is prominently featured in Shadowlands.
I don't know if we go that route specifically. I am curious to see where the story ends at the end of these next 2 episodes.
I can see him going darker, is more the point there. I can see him going down a road of... There's 2 roads here. Of either he goes down the dark road and is like, no, we gotta kill Fisk. Or he teams up with the Defenders and all the street-level heroes, and they beat the shit out of the bad man. Ooh, burp. They beat the shit out of the bad man and we call it a day. Right? I'm
curious to see, because John Bernthal originally didn't agree to return to the show. So whatever story they're telling with Punisher, we've only seen him in the one episode, and we've seen shots in the trailer of him with the buzzed head. So something's going to happen. Something's got to give in these next couple of episodes that brings Punisher back into the conflict. I'm very curious to see where the Punisher storyline intersects with the end of this season, the start of next season, and his own standalone special.
It's got to deal with those cops, right? Like, it has to.
I'm just curious what state we leave New York in at the end of these next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I'm also curious where season 2 is going to pick up. We know we're getting season 2 next year.
Yeah.
Filming, like I said, is happening right now and is scheduled to end in July. And it's set to premiere early to mid 2026. At this point, we are at that point where we start to question how this wraps up, how this moves on. And it's really nice knowing already that we're getting season 2. So we know that it's going to be a cliffhanger, and we know that cliffhanger is going to be resolved.
Thankfully, within the next year.
Mm-hmm. Which, man,
I'm curious.
Learn from this, Disney. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if the reception to this season leads to confirmation of anything past season 2 for these characters. I'm not even just saying, Daredevil or Kingpin. You've got
Defenders again.
I don't think you're doing Defenders again. Heroes for Hire could be a thing.
Maybe. I mean, so how much of these set photos have you seen?
Not much outside of the Daredevil suit.
So I have one more, but it's a pretty big reveal, and if you don't want it spoiled, I will respect that.
Maybe we don't talk about it here so we don't spoil it for the audience.
I will speak in vague terms then. There's a particular actor seen in some set photos for season 2 that's going to be a pretty big deal for season 2. And it makes me excited to see that route and see what they're doing, and I really hope that we can expand upon these characters. I want to see Jessica Jones back. I want to see Luke Cage back. I even want to see Iron Fist back. I want him to get a shot. Like, what if we actually got a halfway decent Iron Fist story?
Or just go straight out of left field, and for whatever reason, Peter Quill's in New York, and we get a Star-Lord and Daredevil team.
I mean, isn't he in rural New York?
I thought he was in, Maryland or something.
I don't think they ever specified, where exactly he is. Just in some suburbs somewhere.
Well, I'm just trying to remember where his grandfather lived.
Where'd he get abducted?
I think we do know that. Goddamn.
I'm looking it up. Where's Peter Quill from?
So am I.
Missouri.
Missouri. See, that sounds right.
Okay.
I mean,
so that's definitely not you, New York.
Right? That's close enough.
I mean, given that, this is a cosmic universe at this point, essentially.
You know what? I have a theory that takes Star-Lord to New York. You're not going to like it. What's in upstate New York?
Are you going to try to tell me that we're going to do X-Men and we're going to do the Kitty Pryde romance to get Star-Lord to New York, even though the X-Men have not been founded, and that would be the single dumbest way to introduce the X-Men to this world?
1,000%.
Please stop talking. In fact, I need to find a new co-host now.
I just know how much.
How dare you?
So I want that to be the way. And the thing is, they don't even mention it in it's just, oh yeah, I'm here to I'm here to meet up with someone I met on Tinder or something like that, and that's it. They don't have to allude to it. Be like, she's freaky.
How dare you do this to my favorite X-Men character?
Look, I'm just setting up those breadcrumbs so that once we get through Secret Wars, the X-Men become a thing. Kitty gets her own movie, and for whatever reason, Peter Quill's in it.
Side note, everybody read Exceptional X-Men right now. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I hate you so much right now.
No, you don't.
That's all.
Wouldn't you want to see a Star-Lord Daredevil team up? That would be cool.
Honestly, what I want to see, and we're never going to get to see it, is a Daredevil Spider-Man team up.
I mean, what I really want is Daredevil and Moon Knight.
Oh my God,
mostly because I just want more Oscar Isaac.
Do you think we'll ever see more Oscar Isaac in the MCU? I don't think so at this point.
I do, but not in the way you think.
What are you saying? We're going to get Apocalypse or something?
No, I think Spider-Verse characters are going to pop up in Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Well, I mean, yeah, duh. I think we're
Yeah,
also
but it's
assuming
good.
that.
They're going to be animated, so it's going to be Miguel, and it's going to be voiced by Oscar.
Okay, you know what I meant.
I know.
Live action Oscar Isaac. But bringing it back to Daredevil, right? Because we got to talk about Daredevil. We got one of my favorites.
Revive the Purple Man. Do that.
We had this conversation last week.
I know
We're not having it again this week. That is a podcast in of itself of me just yelling at you.
I know.
I love the way that this episode ended. So much of them being, well, first off, just in general, right? Daredevil fighting Muse, Heather being the one to kill Muse, and then Fisk saying that it was his task force. All of that, the drama is perfect. I love it. Heather kind of starting to realize that Daredevil is mad, but not really realizing it. Love it. That is the soap opera bullshit that I love out of Daredevil. But this ending of him, like, looking out the window and learning that Daredevil is back, and just having this look of, like, God damn it, here we go again.
Also, the scene in the restaurant is like, oh yeah, Kingpin is fully back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not even flinching. He's got his assistant kill the dude as he comes in the door. Like, how much does he know of what Vanessa was setting up?
Dude, and it's like the same shot as well of him eating in like the basement where he's keeping the dude
lover.
Yeah, like it's so good. I love Vincent D'Onofrio so much in this role. Like,
yeah,
no one else can do it.
Like, he is the Robert Downey Jr. to Iron Man. Like, there's no one else that can play this character at this point. Mm-hmm. All love and respect to oh god, what was the name of the actor that played him in the Ben Affleck movie? He was really good, but he's no Vincent D'Onofrio. And I should know it. I can see his face. I just can't. The name is escaping me.
Was Michael Clark Duncan?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Also, just
he's a fantastic actor.
While we're shouting out Kingpins, I also want to shout out Kingpin in the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah. Did you see this thing that came out, the Vincent D'Onofrio interview today?
I did not. Real quick, though, I'm shouting out Lee Schreiber for voicing that one. Okay, continue.
Yes, very much so. Vincent D'Onofrio has said that this version of Fisk can only be used on television.
Oh.
So what does that mean?
Is that like a legal thing?
Presumably.
Well, okay. Well, frankly, if this version of Fisk can't leave television, then he will never, ever meet with Spider-Man.
Unless it's Sony that is the gatekeeper to that.
How do you feel about that Spider-Man news, by the way? Just total left turn.
The name of the movie?
Yeah, Brand New Day.
I like that they're breaking from the home motif because he's not at home anymore. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with the comic line because that was actually like they used aspects of Brand New Day in No Way Home. So like I do think it's going to just be an original story. I think it's a good title.
I'm just scared that invoking the words Brand New Day is a terrifying thing being a Spider-Man fan.
No, it's going to be fine.
But
it's just a name.
Honestly, what I think it is they want to pull elements that were really successful in a certain other Spider-Man franchise on a certain Sony video game console that was extremely successful.
Which storyline?
All of the Mr. Negative stuff is Brand New Day.
Oh yeah. I think it's definitely gonna be Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
I think that's the right call for this first pass. Mm-hmm. It's someone that you can set up as a mentor character for him that eventually turns because he's got this, bipolar disorder that leads to him shooting negative lasers out of his eyes or some shit.
Yes, that's what he does, actually. That's fairly accurate.
I don't think it's his eyes.
It's his hands, but close enough.
Yeah, that was close enough.
Yeah, anyways, folks, that's Daredevil this week. It was a very straightforward episode. Like, it's great. Watch it. It's good. Now we got 2 more episodes to see what the hell happens now.
Cliffhanger in the next one where the girlfriend's been kidnapped again, or she reveals that she knows it was Matt, and then he's got to go do his thing, even though he's been hiding it from her.
I think that
Or
is
he
some
has to
Punisher
choose between
bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, the last episode is just going to be Fisk versus Matt and Daredevil versus Kingpin, probably in two different venues. So you've probably got some sort of legal conflict as well as the fisticuffs. But
I hope we get some more legal stuff in these next couple episodes. I know Daredevil typically puts that stuff to the side when going into some of the more action stuff. And I really wish that they would learn that both can coincide. We saw that with episode 5. They can coincide. We see that with episodes 1 through 4. They can coincide.
But
please.
I don't see anything pulling that to court, because I think there's enough right now that they need to try to wrap up with this story, and especially the Punisher stuff, if they're going to sort of reopen that. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
I totally forgot an entire part of this episode. Fucking Cherry and his partner.
Oh yeah.
How is that gonna play out? Like that, maybe that pulls Matt into some of this legal stuff, and there's that great moment in season 2 of the Netflix show, right, where they have to defend Punisher, and he's not there because he's doing Daredevil stuff, so Foggy has to step in. Like, I would love to see maybe we get some of that. Obviously, I don't think we're going to, but I don't
think we will, because we don't have a subject set up to be the center of.
I just love the courtroom stuff, man.
Well, unless it's
unless it is Matt,
or it's Matt, or it's the dude reoffending that said the system is broken. You're getting me parole or whatever. You're getting me 3 weeks or whatever. Maybe
he's back in.
Something else has happened. He's back in for doing nothing, and they've got to defend him again. But Matt's nowhere to be seen because he's doing Daredevil shit. I don't know.
Honestly, they could do Matt with the whole anti-vigilante laws. I think this ends. This is my full prediction. The actual official anti-vigilante law is going to be how they end the finale.
It's Matt taking Fisk to court over the anti-vigilante stuff.
No, I think Matt beats the shit out of Fisk, and that
ingrains the law. That is then the
focal point to
season 2.
Yeah. And that's why we have to bring in other
on the run in his special, right?
Mm-hmm. And then we can bring in the Defenders, and we can bring in everybody. You can invoke the names of Iron Man and Captain America and the Avengers. Like, that's how you bring the MCU together on this one. I'm not saying you have them there. I'm saying that you can invoke those names in a court case, and it's going to be real fucking cool.
Unrelated, but Vision Quest starts filming tomorrow with the working title Tin Man, and I love that.
That's pretty good. That's a good code name. Yeah. All right, folks. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for hanging out with us while we talked about Daredevil and a whole lot of other shit.
Mostly not Daredevil.
Check out next week's. Yeah, check out next week's episode where we will be back to talk about episode 8. But until then, be good to each other and have a magical day.
Excelsior.